All new at 8, dogs, cats, and chickens. A change in law lets you own them now, but before you fly the coop and get your own, there are some important rules that you need to know.
A bit of rain still in the forecast for northern Arizona for the weekend. An update of your first alert forecast.
Parents in Mesa on edge after news broke of an alleged kill list surfaced online naming students at Stapley Junior High School. Officials say that list is not credible. Thank you so much for joining us online tonight. I'm Yetta Gibson.
And I'm Vanessa Ariza. The list is simply the latest development in a disturbing trend that we are seeing nationwide and right here in Arizona. It has put several kids, some as young as 11 years old, in handcuffs. So take a look at this. We counted at least 9 districts across the valley that investigated social media threats over the past few weeks, putting many Arizona families on edge. In Mesa, students and parents say they were left in the dark, and tonight they are getting together to tackle this issue head on. Our Zach Proletsky is at that meeting, and it just wrapped up. So what were you able to learn?
Yeah, well, Vanessa and Yetta, that community meeting wrapped up about 30 minutes ago. Some parents staying behind to talk a little more intimately with some school and district administrators. You talk about what the Mesa Public School District, what Stapley Junior High has gone through over the past week. One of the statistics they shared tonight that was pretty jarring, there have been 17 different schools in Mesa Public Schools since last week that have gotten a threat. Here at Stapley, it's one of those schools you mentioned, the list. There was actually 2 lists that they talked about. One list started last school year, and for some reason they say resurfaced this week, and they say actually within the last 24 hours there's been another list with other students' names on it. So a lot of parents here concerned about obviously what's going on here at Stapley. And during the course of the meeting, they heard from different districts and school administrators as well as members of the Mesa Police Department, really just sharing their protocols and how they tackle all of these threats. Again, none of the threats here have been proven to be credible, which is something that obviously a lot of people don't like to see threats in any way, but non-credible threats, less severe than credible threats. But obviously, some of the big safety measures and announcements that came out of this meeting here, they're going to actually be installing some weapons detection systems here at Stapley Junior High. This is the first school in Mesa Public Schools that is going to have this system. It's going to start, I'm told, on Monday and eventually roll out through the rest of the district. And I had a chance to speak with some parents after the meeting, after listening to some of the protocols, what school and district administrators do when they get these threats. Some parents say that they were relieved. They've had students who have been missing class over the past few days out of fear for all of these rumors and threats that have been going around. Some parents, though, still say that there is something missing in the communication between the school and the parents, and obviously these threats have rattled them pretty good. So obviously this meeting, again, just wrapped up within the last 30 minutes or so. Some of the parents still here talking to some of these school administrators one-on-one, trying to get their questions, their concerns answered in a little more of an intimate setting. And we'll have much more from this meeting, much more of these concerns and reactions from parents on just what's been a pretty scary week for a lot of people in the Mesa Public Schools. And we'll have that coming up tonight after the Mercury game. But for now, reporting live in Mesa, Zach Proletsky for Arizona's Family.
Zach, thank you. It's good to hear the meeting provided some relief to some of those parents with everything going on. Scary stuff. Thank you so much.
The search continues tonight for a person who went underwater at the Salt River near Sheep's Crossing recreation site. This happened yesterday afternoon. Crews with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office were called for a reported drowning. When deputies arrived, witnesses were already performing CPR on a man who had been submerged in the water. Sadly, he did not survive. Authorities have not been able to locate that second person who went under.
And right now, State Route 87 is shut down in both directions near Payson because of a fire there. The Arizona Department of Transportation says a semi caught fire before spreading to nearby brush. Northbound traffic is being redirected off at Bush Highway, and southbound lanes are getting off at State Route 188.
Let's check in with First Alert Chief just Royal Norman. Royal, even stepping out around 12 o'clock this afternoon, it was still nice.
Yeah, it was a great day. Great few days where we had below normal temperatures and excellent morning temperatures. More of the same for the next several days. We are going to warm up again next week, but no major deals. Today, 98 was our high. The average high is 100, so we were below that. Yesterday, we were at 97 degrees. Oh, by the way, today is the latest we've ever had a 110 or more in Phoenix weather records. That happened happened way back in 2010, so we can safely say we're done with the 110s, we think, at this point. 90 at Scottsdale right now, 83 Paradise Valley, it's 84 at Glendale, 89 the current reading at Chandler, and Ahwatukee is at 91 degrees. Tomorrow morning, pretty sweet temperatures, maybe not quite as cool as we had this morning, but we will have some areas in the low 70s, some 60s will pop up as well. Glendale will be at 74, Avondale 75 degrees, and Maricopa 71, if not maybe even a little bit cooler for the Maricopa area. Now, the reason we're cool, we've got this area of low pressure moving in. By this time tomorrow night, we could have a few showers in northern Arizona. Yeah, nothing too heavy though, and those showers could linger into Saturday as well. We'll continue to see the cool air through the weekend, but then a ridge of high pressure begins to build in, and that is going to warm us up. So we'll talk about how warm we're going to be next week, almost hot, when we update the first alert forecast. All
right, sounds good. Thank you, Royal. Tonight, we are learning new details about a deadly West Valley house fire.
The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office says 36-year-old Kayla Clark and 2 young kids were killed in this. Deputies say Clark and the 2 kids were related. This happened Wednesday morning in Arlington, west of Buckeye. Neighbors say the barn the victims were found in was used as a backyard casita. Deputies are still investigating what happened there exactly.
A man is in jail tonight accused of shooting 2 construction workers while they were on the job. One of those men died. Another still fighting for his life in the hospital tonight. This all happened back on September 1st near 39th Street and Thomas Road. Officers say 48-year-old Alan Whitworth and 19-year-old Jamal Avery were working on a fence when they were approached by 31-year-old Markia Cato. Police believe that there was a fight between Cato and the 2 construction employees, ending in Cato shooting both of them. Whitworth died from his injuries. We had a chance to speak with Avery's wife. She says he's slowly getting better while also praising Whitworth as a hero.
This is for Alan, because without Alan, my husband wouldn't have been here. He wouldn't have been here. Alan was a hero. He was the reason why Jamal gets to keep fighting and the reason why I have my husband.
Cato is now charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder. He has a $2 million bond.
A person has been arrested after a student was stabbed inside of a classroom at ASU's West Valley campus today. The university says it happened between 2 female students around 11:45 in the morning at the West Valley campus. The student who was stabbed is expected to recover. We will, of course, keep you updated as we learn more. Peoria police arrested this man in connection to a string of burglaries at massage parlors in the West Valley. Police say 23-year-old Mitchell Briggs broke into 4 different massage parlors and in Peoria back on September 5th. In some of those instances, workers were inside. No one was hurt. Briggs is now facing multiple charges, including aggravated assault, kidnapping, and armed robbery.
There was a fight between 2 groups of people in the food court. There were large groups in the food court area around 7:30. That argument in the food court led to a shooting.
Tempe police still searching for the person or people who are responsible for firing shots inside of Arizona Mills Mall last week. New information coming out about the intense moments at the mall. People scrambled after shots were fired in the food court. The good news is that nobody was hurt, but officers found 12 casings at the scene. They're asking anyone with video or pictures from that evening, specifically in the food court area, to please contact Tempe police. You can remain anonymous.
I'm on hold with them, waiting for them to answer. I've got him sitting down on the bed. Then I laid him down because it said, and I'm just going through the steps, reading my phone on what to do for somebody suffering from a stroke.
Tonight, that Valley woman is sharing her experience with 911 dispatchers. She says her call went unanswered for minutes while her husband was having a stroke. Dawn Holbrook is her name. She immediately called 911. She says after her husband, Doug, started showing signs of distress. But 3 minutes went by, she says, before she heard from someone at the fire department. Doug was rushed to the hospital. He is now back home recovering. We spoke with Phoenix Fire Captain Rob McDade, who explains the cause for the delay.
We wanted to look at the call. We surgically looked at how this call came in, how it got transferred. And I can tell you, for whatever reason, at 6:40 at night, that time, Phoenix was very busy.
A new 911 center is being built that should be up and running next year. It's expected to reduce the number of incidents like this in the future.
It didn't seem actually real, absolutely real, until I walked out that gate this morning.
An Arizona man is now free after he was sentenced to almost 300 years in prison.
We're talking about 31-year-old Adam Patsalis. He was given a very hefty sentence 10 years ago after stealing items from homes, garages, and cars in Bullhead City. He admitted to taking less than $6,000 worth of items that he used as leverage for a place to stay. The Arizona Justice Project says he struggled with addiction and homelessness at the time. Well, the judge handed down the max sentence to be served consecutively for each count, totaling nearly 300 years. In July, Governor Katie Hobbs granted clemency. He was released on parole today. Patsalis says that he wants to give hope to others who may be in a similar situation.
I'm kind of the first to step through that gate for a reason that the court systems they're an issue with them. So now with me being the first clemency individual, I open the door for hope for everyone else.
Patsalis tells us that he wants to enroll in a reentry program, find a job, and get his life back on track. And within the past couple of minutes, we were able to speak with the judge, Bill Sipe, who oversaw that case. He says because of his prior felonies, Patsalis was placed by law to a high sentence, and he was following the sentence code set by state legislatures. He said it is important for people to know that Patsalis was convicted of 25 felonies for breaking into nearly 24 homes.
We are only 46 days away from Election Day, and both candidates are continuing to try and persuade voters across our state. Today, the Harris campaign launched a new committee to reach out to members of the Church of Latter-day Saints. Former Arizona Representative Joel John and former Mesa Vice Mayor Claudia Walters are a part of this effort. They are looking to organize and mobilize conservative and independent voters who helped flip Arizona blue in the 2020 election. There are almost 450,000 members of the Church of Latter-day Saints here in Arizona, which is 6% of the state's population. A heads up, there could be changes to speed limits on some major roads across Tempe.
The City Council is meeting tonight where they will make a decision on this. The biggest change would come to Mill Avenue, where speed limits would drop 10 miles per hour. They would drop from 45 to 35 miles per hour at the northern end of the road. Other areas highlighted include College, First Street, and Southern. The speed in these areas would drop by 5 miles per hour.
All right, people here in Arizona are flocking to farms to buy chickens.
Yeah, a new law allowing them to do just that. Prior to the change, if you lived in cities like Glendale and the like, you could not own backyard chickens. Well, now you can.
Here we go.
If that's on your list. Steven Saravia joining us live to break all of this down. They're popular.
Oh yeah, they're definitely popular here in Arizona. But before you head out the door, before you leave the studio and make your way to buy some chickens, there are a few things to keep in mind. Not everyone could go out and have backyard chickens. Unfortunately, this law applies to single family homes, so sorry if you live in an apartment or a townhome. So if you do live in a single family home, you can't have more than 6, and also no roosters. These are the birds that typically make a lot of noise in the early morning hours. Now, these chickens will need to be kept in an enclosed backyard or side yard and at least 15 feet away from a neighbor. You will also need to pick up after them at least twice a week. So yeah, keep that in mind. And if you think you can manage all that, local businesses that sell chickens say, just make sure you protect them.
They need food and water. The worst thing is summertime. The heat is hard on them. Winter time, not so much, but they need to be protected from all the hawks and the coyotes and bobcats and raccoons that we have in the valley.
When talking to businesses and people buying chickens, they tell us that the fresh eggs are the one and main point in getting backyard chickens. Now, coming up at 9, we'll hear how since this law passed and demand for chickens is up, one Valley farmer is having to raise these chicks in another state before bringing them here to sell. And he says he has to do that because he needs more room.
So
Yet, are you getting some chickens? You thinking about it?
before I go out and get my chickens tonight, I want to know, so there's a neighborhood in Arcadia that has chickens literally everywhere. With this new rule, new law, do they have to be contained? Can they just roam wherever? Just asking for the people who are in the neighborhoods for people who are going to want the chickens.
If you're not familiar, there is that neighborhood in Arcadia that chickens roam up. That's a different case.
Yeah.
So they have their own little rules and sets. As far as the state law for backyard chickens, you can't let them roam throughout your neighborhood. You have to keep them in either your backyard or your side yard.
So you got to have a coop.
Yeah, you have to have a coop. You can't just let them roam around on your roof or your neighbor's roof.
Well, then I'm not going to get one tonight.
Oh.
Not going to get them.
Don't let the girls see this story and those cute little chicks.
Oh, thank you
Stephen,
for clearing that up. Thank you so much. All right, let's talk about the weather because we're all excited. I was telling Paul that this morning when I was taking the girls to school, I looked at my dash and it said 70.
Isn't that nice?
Whatever degrees. All I saw was a 7 and I was like, whoa.
You know, and up at Deer Valley, you know, just north of the 101, it was 66 this morning.
Wow.
Is that nice or what?
Yeah. And it happened just like that, it feels like.
Because we were just, 112, 110, we're burning up.
Yeah.
Wintertime.
Here we go.
Here we go. Yeah, let's do it. We do have some rain chances this weekend, beginning 24 hours from now in northern Arizona. They're not big rain chances for sure, but we are going to see some activity in the northern portion of the state, and we are going to continue to be on the cool side. Well, a look at the Footprint Center where the Mercury are playing tonight. Is it Diana Taurasi's last home game? We don't know. We don't know that yet, do we? We don't know. Stay tuned for that. A look from Chase Field back the other direction. And we have clear skies out there. 74 was our morning low at the airport. As mentioned, though, a bunch of areas got into the 60s this morning. 98 was our afternoon high, so that's below average. Right now, we're at 92, winds out of the east, and the dew point is at 44 degrees. So tomorrow morning, Midtown will settle somewhere in the mid-70s, upper 60s in the outline area, so a little bit warmer than today. And then tomorrow, though, high temps in the mid to upper 90s, so about the same range as we were today. The reason we're staying a bit on the cool side, we've got this area of low pressure that's going to pass through the state beginning tomorrow through Saturday and looks like Sunday morning as well. We could see some isolated showers in northern Arizona. We'll stay on the cool side of that low until we get into next week and a ridge of high pressure builds in and starts warming us up pretty quickly on the backside. But the rain chances have gone up slightly over the past 24 hours. There's a wider area where we could see some measurable rain, and there's actually some spots in the mountainous areas where we could see up to 1/4 inch of rain through the weekend. In the meantime, overnight tonight, we'll see some fair weather clouds, high and mid-level clouds. Fair weather clouds. Thank you, Royal. Across the valley tomorrow morning. Yeah, I know. I'll get it. I'll get there. You know, I'll get there. I always do get there. Sometimes I take the long way home, but I get there. So tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock, we're going to see some scattered showers, maybe even a thunderstorm or two in western Arizona. As we progress through the day, you can see that storm pinwheeling mainly through northern Arizona. We think the closest showers we're going to get are going to be the mountains of northern Maricopa County, so to the north of the valley. And then that storm will continue to wind its way out, and by 5 p.m. Saturday, we'll be right on top of the Four Corners area. So current temps for you: 75 at Benson, 77 at Sierra Vista, 85 degrees right now in the Tucson area. It's 64 at Taylor, 60 at Heber Overgard, and 58 at Window Rock. Flagstaff 54, Cottonwood 72, 58 at the south rim of the Grand Canyon. We're in the 80s along the Colorado River, 71 degrees at Kingman. Our first alert 7-day forecast for you tomorrow, a bit breezy, high of about 96. First day of fall on Sunday, we're going to see 99 degrees. Yeah, and then those triple digits return. But baby triple digits, baby 100s, as we have coined the phrase, 103 to 105 through the middle of next week.
All right, we'll take it from where we were last week. Royal, thank you. $25,000 is up for grabs for the best meat butcher at Texas Roadhouse.
This is part of the company's annual competition, and the regional qualifier is happening Tuesday at AZ Ice. Alexandra Ronhell caught up with one of the contestants in Yuma.
Texas Roadhouse does not play about their meat. Here in Yuma, they go through 3,000 pounds of meat each week, and their head meat cutter is headed to the competition in Peoria. With precision and care, George Renteria hand cuts every type of meat that comes through Texas Roadhouse.
You get a good-looking 12.
From bone and ribeye to filet and the most requested sirloin.
8, my 2 ounces, and my 3 ounces.
George is a meat cutter at the chain in Yuma. He's worked there for 13 years, and it will be his third time competing in the meat cutting challenge, but his first time as a head meat cutter.
I'm just gonna go there and do my best, but I already know what to look for, what to expect.
Held at a chilling 38 degrees at AZ Ice's Arena, each participant will get about an hour to cut 30 pounds of beef and will be judged on the highest quality and yield.
All that, you gotta do everything by spec, everything.
George makes it look easy, but it's a skill he's perfected.
It feels good, actually. It feels good, and you see like all the hard work you put into the meat, and everybody sees like notice that they're good-looking steaks and good compliments, and that makes me feel real appreciation.
George will be competing against 27 of the best meat cutters in the region. Service manager Casey Buckman says there's nobody better to represent Yuma.
He just has that pristine slice, that cut, that just makes those perfect specs every time.
In Yuma, Alexandra Rangel, Arizona's Family.
All right, let's go ahead and take you to the Footprint Center, taking a live look there where the Phoenix Mercury's final home game of the regular season is underway. This could also be Merc legend Diana Taurasi's final regular season home game. So many people wondering, is it going to happen?
I don't think so.
I know. That's what some are
I don't
saying
know.
too.
I've been hearing the rumblings, and she's all business tonight, I heard.
Oh, yeah?
Not acting like this is it, which is the phrase they've coined for this.
That is true. I don't know.
Well,
maybe
we'll see.
Yeah, maybe it's a good marketing scheme for them. So they're not doing the best.
Yeah.
They didn't come out as strong. Seattle Storm really coming out strong in the very beginning. First couple of minutes, they got about 10, 14 points right off the bat. So they're in the third quarter right now. We have a crew at the game. We will have more coverage throughout the night, starting after the game. So make sure you watch, see if she won't she.
You can't go out your last home game on a loss. Just can't do it.
Okay.
You got to win and then say, okay, guys.
That is it.
That's it.
All right.
We won. Thank you.
Yeah, fingers crossed. All right. Meanwhile, the Arizona Cards, they are getting ready for their third game of the season as they welcome the Detroit Lions this Sunday.
And there is one Cardinals running back who's had a different journey than most to get to the NFL. Julia Lopez has more from Tempe.
Hey everyone, Julia Lopez here alongside Cardinals running back Imari DiMercado, second-year running back here. We got to talk about the last game. You guys beat the Rams 41-10. What a great win for you guys. But there was a play in the fourth quarter, 3rd and 9. You ran for 41 yards out of the shotgun, and then you see James Conner celebrating on the sideline. Does that just kind of personify this running back room?
Yeah, I think definitely it's just a family. You know, everybody's rooting for each other. I do wish I would have scored though. That one hurt a little bit, but yeah, it's just always fun. You know, every time somebody makes a play, we're all rooting for each other.
And I know you played at TCU. You actually played at State Farm Stadium during the Fiesta Bowl, and you guys beat Michigan. And you had a career game, 150 rushing yards, a touchdown. Is it a little serendipitous that you're now playing there for your NFL home stadium?
Yeah, I think it actually, you know, helped with like confidence and just already being in that atmosphere before. So last year was kind of like I've already been here, I'm familiar with that. So I think it helped out like psychologically.
You actually went to community college first, Saddleback out of Mission Viejo, and then you went to TCU. How did that build you as a football player and as a person? Mostly as a person, you know, just being able to work through adversity, you know, not giving up on what I love to do. And I gotta show you something real quick, and we gotta get your immediate feel. So when you watch this video, let me know like what is kind of going through your head when you're seeing this. I'm not gonna say a fun year, but it was fun in football terms. But you know, nobody wants to be in junior college, so it was just kind of trying to, you know, ball to get out of there. You know, I chose to go to junior college, which most people wouldn't do. I had a few offers, and I just felt like, you know, I could play Power 5 football, so I took a chance on myself, and it all worked out. It was a whole thing with my mom. It was emotional. Like the day before signing day, I decided not to sign with Cal Poly, and then, so yeah, that was a turn of events. So you were going to be a Mustang? Yeah. Okay. And then it's just something in my heart told me like, this isn't for me. Wow. Yeah. And just that one decision, now you're here, so it obviously worked out for you. If not, I would have definitely been an engineer if I went there. So. Hey, you can still have that down the road. Exactly.
All right, switching gears here. One of the top issues this election season is the cost of housing. In 2018, most renters in Maricopa County were paying $500 to $1,500 a month in rent.
And fast forward to 2023, $1,500 became the low end of the spectrum. We have been telling you about high rents, the result of a housing shortage, but Arizona's family investigator Morgan Lowe uncovered another major undeniable variable.
When we've done stories on rent prices in the past, we get economists that will come on and they will say, this is the market. There's a shortage, so the prices have gone up. It seems to me like you're saying they left something out.
They left a big chunk of the story out.
Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays doesn't dispute that our community has a housing shortage, but she says the dramatic increase in rent prices that we have seen is the result of something else.
9 of the biggest landlords in the state of Arizona are colluding with a software company called RealPage to artificially set high rents. That is old-fashioned price fixing using new technology, and it is illegal under both state and federal antitrust laws and our Consumer Fraud Act.
Mays is suing those 9 landlords and the software company RealPage, alleging they're violating the law. Coming up tonight at 9, we're going to look into some complaints from renters who say they're paying all this money each month in rent and they're getting lousy service. I'm Morgan Lowe for Arizona's Family Investigates.
Morgan, thank you. Coming up in our 9 o'clock hour, a debate tonight over a controversial immigration measure that will be on your ballot this November. The reaction from both sides to giving the state more power at the border. That will do it for us here in our 8 o'clock hour.
We'll bring you live coverage of the Mercury's final home game right after it ends.
AZFamily.com, powered by CBS 5 and 3 TV. Access Arizona's family online anytime.